ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनाम् उपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदान शृण्वन् ओतिभिः श्रीदसादनम् महागणपतये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तः पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घेते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीदयानन्दसद्गुरुं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। यदक्षरं परं ब्रह्म विद्यागम्यम् इतीरितं यस्मिज्ञाते भवे ज्ञातं सर्वं तच्चाम् असंशयम्। ओ So the fifth mantra of the Tritiya Mundake, Dutiya Kande. Samprapyena mrishyo jnanatृप्ताः कृतात्मानो वीतरागा प्रशान्ताः ते सर्वगं सर्वतः प्राप्य धीराः युक्तात्मानः सर्वमेव अविशन्ति। The Anvaya. ऋषयः येनं सम्प्राप्य ज्ञानतृप्ताः कृतात्मानः वीतरागाः प्रशान्ताः भवन्ति। ते धीराः युक्तात्मानः सर्वगं सर्वतः प्राप्य सर्वं एव आविशन्ति. So Swamiji's translation: having gained this Brahman, samprapya, yenam samprapya, who rishayah, who gained it, rishayah, and the rishis become jnanatriptaha, satisfied due to knowledge. Tripti obtained by or gained by triptihi, gained by knowledge. Having rendered the mind ready, that is krita atmanah. Krita atmanah can mean, from the point of view of sadhana, having rendered the mind ready, as Swamiji writes here, or krita Atmanaha means kritakrityaha, by knowing that the self is whole. So there is nothing more to be accomplished. There is no sense of lack. So there is no sense of lack, and that is only in Atma. Vita ragaha, free from ragadveshas. Prashantaha, naturally cheerful, spontaneously cheerful. That is the meaning you give to that pra. Te sarvagam sarvataha prapya, having gained the all-pervasive Brahman. Dhiraha yuktatmanaha sarvameva pravishanti or sarvameva avishanti. They become everything. One interesting thing to note here, the verb is a plural form. It's not that there is only Brahman and the one who has knowledge of Brahman gains Brahman. So that's all to it. The plural given for two reasons. Usually you use a plural sometimes to give respect. So the subject matter is a subject matter deserves your attention. So for that reason, a plural. Or the meaning could be that there are many, from the point of view of ajnaninaha, many ajnani, many people who are having the quest to know oneself. Really there is no manyness. Manyness is reality wise, manyness is not the reality. So there is never be a reason to use plural. But from the point of view of the seekers, many seekers as though. So therefore they all reach. Whoever is making the effort gains the knowledge of the self. So in that sense, the plural. So Bhashyakara explains everything so beautifully here. It's a very, these mantra and the next two mantras are very interesting. Katam Brahma Vishate iti uchyate. How do they enter into Brahman? Meaning, how do they understand or gain Brahman? So samprapya means sam avagamya. So there is that sam prefix, samyaktvam artha. Samyak, sam means samyak. That means understanding clearly. Samyak avagamya, having understood the reality clearly. Reality of what? Enam atmanam, the reality of the self. Rishayaha. Rishi means darshanat rishi, one who has the vision. Darshanavantaha, people who have darshanam, who have the vision. What is this vision? Darshanavantaha iti jnanavantaha ityartaha, people who have the knowledge. What knowledge? What kind of knowledge? Sakshat aham brahmasmi ityevam drishtavantaha. Sakshat, directly and immediately. Directly as if they would know something by pratyaksha, so directly. But pratyaksha requires other subordinate things. There should be light to see something. Your eyes have to be there, etc. But here there is no such dependence because it is self-shining. So sakshat aparokshat. Sakshat aparoksham brahma. Sakshat without any intervening factors. So immediately. Like pratyaksha directly. So directly, immediately, one knows, aprokshataya knows, aham brahma. Aham brahma iti. Iti evam drishtavantaha. Tenaiva jnanena triptaha. Their tripti is gained by knowledge. There are three terms that we use to denote a sense of satisfaction, if you will. Tripti. Tripti, tushtihi, triptihi, ratihi. Three words meaning the same, but with reference to what they take a different shade of meaning. Triptihi means with a reference to food. Suppose you triptosmi aham, you had a good meal. So then you say triptosmi, I am very satisfied. Triptihi. So with a reference to food, etc. Tushtihi means with a reference to objects, any external objects. Tushtihi. Tushtaha. Aham tushtaha. Then ratihi means with a reference to people. I am satisfied with this person. Ratihi. So triptihi, tushtihi, ratihi. All dependent upon bahya vishayas, other than yourself. That kind of a tripti, satisfaction, is ephemeral. It won't last. Bhojana triptihi, after the food is digested, that is gone. Again you want to eat. But here it is a tripti. Once gained, there is no more longing for it. Tripti gained by knowledge. Before there was a lack, sense of lack, then you are longing for something. But here Atma, there is no lack. It is self-sufficient principle. So Atma triptaha, Atma tushtaha, Atma ratihi. So the one who has become Atma triptaha, jnanena tushtaha ratihi ityadi. Na bahyena. It doesn't depend upon a bahya vishaya for gaining this tripti. Tripti sadhanena, sharira upachaya karanena. Sharira upachaya, so that is you, annadina, that food, etc. Bahya padarthena, sharirasya upachayah, vruddhihi bhavati ataha annadi tat karanam. So by eating food, the body grows. So therefore, naturally there is a tripti. There is a satisfaction. Hey, I'm very strong now, etc. So sarira upachaya, sarira grows by tripti sadhanena bahya vishayena annadina. But here that is not the tripti. It is jnanena triptaha. Kritatmanaha, I told you this krita atma, if you take atma as referring to mind, krita atma, that is mind is well made. Well made for jnana yogyata prapti. So then knowledge takes place. But kritatmanaha also means kritakrityaha. Everything that is to be done, kritam, anything that has to be, anything that has to be kritya, what has to be done is kritam eva. What is to be done is already done. Everything is as well accomplished. There is no karma pravritti or nivritti necessary for this person. How does he gain this? Paramatma surupenaiva, only by knowing the Atma. Aham sakshat, aham brahmasmi iti. Nishpanna atmanaha santaha. The one who knows and nishpannaha is abides in this. Nishpanna atmanaha santaha. Vita ragaha, vigata ragadi doshaha. All the ragadveshas have left him. Ragadveshas can be there only if there is an ashraya for ragadvesha. An ashraya is the mind. Mind entertains likes and dislikes. Because of various vasanas, etc., you project on vishayas, you project your own likes and dislikes. What is called shobhana dhyasa or ashobhana dhyasa. You see an object, based on your samskaras, you say it is favorable for me. You superimpose, then you develop raga. So shobhana dhyasa. You decide it is not favorable for me, ashobhana dhyasa, then it is dvesha. Inherently, the object doesn't have neither shobhanam or ashobhanam. Object is an object. but I project. And due to that projection, which is based on the ignorance about the self, I have ragadveshas, and they have an ashraya. So ragadveshas are sanathaha. Sanathaha means they have a master. So we have to make them ragadveshas as anathaha. We have to orphan them, the ragadveshas. The ragadveshas have to be orphaned. Anatha. So therefore, do you make it by practice? You can make it by practice, but that is again temporary. It will again, some occasions, the vasanas will stir up. But here it is permanently gone. How? By knowing that Atma is free from ragadveshas. Because the self is always fulfilled. No sense of lack, no reason to develop ragadveshas. There cannot be any shobhana dhyasa. So vigata ragadi doshaha. The ragadi doshas have left this person. Prashantaha. Uparata indriyaha. Indriyas are all quiet because ragadveshas are not there. Indriyas have lost their function. Indriyas are primarily serving to light up these objects. Then the whole scheme of things develop. Ragadvesha, then pravritti, nivritti, etc. But indriyas are now, except for the vyavahara, I have to go someplace means I need to see the path. So in that purpose, the indriyas are still working. But the indriyas have lost their potency to trigger ragadveshas. They are quietened down. Uparata indriyaha. They, such people, evam bhutaha, such people, they gain this Atma. What is this Atma? Sarvagam, Sarvataha. Sarvagam, it is Sarvavyapi, like Akashavati, Sarvavyapinam, all pervasive. All pervasive means there is no Desha Paricheda. It is not limited by space. That which is free from Desha, Kala, Padartha, Parichinna, free from that Parichinna. It's not limited by time, not limited by space. And what exists in time and space. So Agashabhati Sarva Vyapinam, Sarvagam. Sarvatah, Vaishyakara gives the meaning Sarvatra. Sarvatra, this Saptami here means at all times. With reference to time, the Saptami. Sarvatra, all times. All times means that Kala Paricheda is removed. Sarvagam, remove the Desha Paricheda. Sarvataha or Sarvatra, Kala Paricheda is removed. Prapya, gaining. What is this gaining business? Prapya. This one point about the Nishpanna Atma, I just said it, but I have written it here. So, Paramatma Surupenaiva, Nitya Siddha Paramatma Surupenaiva. So, Paramatma Surupa means Nitya Siddham. Nishpanna Atma, Atma Surupa Avasthita, abide in Atma, Avidya Kalpita, Atma Surupa Apanainena, Avidya Kalpita Atma Surupa Apanainena, Avidya Kalpita Atma. What is Avidya Kalpita Atma? Deha is taken to be Atma. The Karyakarana Sanghada, body, mind, sense complex is taken to be Atma. That is Avidya Kalpitam. So that Avidya Kalpita Atma Apanainena, it is removed. Svena Nitya Siddhena Pararupena Nishpadita Atmanaha, the one who abides in that Atma. That means at each stage of negation, one's understanding of Atma grows. So like Sarira Upachaya, with each consumption of food and other nourishments, the body grows. Here similarly, at each stage of negation, the understanding of Atma grows. Prapya, gaining this Atma, which is free from time and space, or free from the limitations of time and space, na upadi parichinnena egadeshena. when you gain this Atma, it's not gaining through an Upadhi or Ekadeshena, by in one form or whatever, or in one place, in one location. It's not like that. Why? Because it is already said Sarvagam Sarvataha iti, that Atma cannot be in one Upadhi limited understanding or in a given place Prapya, because it is all pervasive. That statement is there, Bhashyakara uses it because Upadhi Parichinna. There is this idea of Sayujyam. Sayujya means you go to a place, Ekadesha, like Vaikunta or Kailas or whatever. Guha Sayujyam, like this in going to Loka of Subramanya. Then it is Guha Sayujyam. So you go to a place, Ekadesha. Then Upadhi Parichinna, you become that or you merge with that. Then again you are in a Upadhi. So not like this, that's not the kind of prapti we are talking about. Na Upadhi Parichinnena Ekadeshena Kim Tarhi, then what is this prapti? Tat Brahmaiva Advaya Atmatvena Pratipatya. By understanding only. Prapti tu avagatihi, understanding is the prapti. There is no other prapti. Other praptis are gati purvikayaha. They are attained through a gati, a marga. Pare Brahmani, that kind of a gati purvika prapti is asambhavat. Brahman is nitya vastu, siddha vastu. So this gati purvika, that is assisted by a karma or upasana or whatever, going to a place, gati, that is not applicable in the case of the sarvagatam sarvataha atma. So understanding that brahmaiva advayam, that advaya brahmam eva ahamiti, that atma is advaya brahmaniti, atma cha brahma, brahma cha atma. Dhiraha, people who use their mind, dhiraha. Dhiham rati iti dhiraha. The one who rati, conducts the mind, one who conducts his mind is a dhiraha. That means a viveki tirtaha. Dhiraha atyanta vivekinaha. Atyanta viveka. What is this atyanta viveka? Yadyapi dehadirikta aham pratyaya gamyam atmanam pratipannaha api vivekinaha eva. The understanding that Atma is Deha Vidiriktam. And this is at an absolute level and a partial level. Even an Agyani, all of us would accept a Deha Vidirikta Atma. That is, there is an Atma which survives the death of the body. Sukshma Sarira, etc. Every religion, in fact, accepts it. Deha Vidirikta Atma. There is a soul. The word used in other theologies, they will say soul. S-O-U-L, soul. The soul survives the death of the body. So that there is a Deha Vidirikta Atma. Unlike the Charuvakas, for them the Deha is the Atma. So therefore when the Deha finishes, so it is been burnt away, then Atma also is gone. So they say as long as the body is there, just enjoy. So that they are called the materialist. So the materialist are Vedic phenomenon. They are there from the times of the Veda. They are called Charuvakas. They will speak beautifully, Charuvakas. So they didn't accept Deha Vidirikta Atma, but everyone else, the Karmata, people who take Vedas for doing karmas, they believe Deha Vidirikta Atma. That is why they want to gather Punya Papa, or rather gather Punya, avoid Papa, so that they go to Swarga and avoid Naraka. For what? For a Deha Vidirikta Atma. The Tarkikas accepted. Sankhyas accepted. So the Deha Vidirikta Atma is, that there is a Deha Vyatirikta Atma iti, that is a Viveka Jnanam. So to some discrimination, I see the body survives, but not necessarily what, because there is a continuity of life, so therefore there has to be something other than the body. See, there is a Viveka. That kind of a Viveka is called Sankhya Viveka. The Sankhya Matam, the Sankhya Darshanam, talks about Deha Vyatirikta Atma. We are not talking about that sort of a Viveka here. Tatapi Advaya Atmanam Pratipannaha Tatopi Vivehinaha, then one who has Advaita Atma, there is an Atma which is Advaitam iti. They are better than the Sankhya Vivekas, but with reference to Sankhya Vivekas, you would say this Viveka is a little bit better. So there is a Staratamya, Sadishyatvam in the level of Viveka Buddhi of a people, but that's not what we are talking about. Atyanta Viveka. Nacha Yesha Vivekaha Sadishyati Atyanta Viveka. Here this Viveka, there is no comparison of this Viveka, because Atma is only one. Ekameva Advitiyam, and that is Aham, Brahma, Aham, Atma. And here that there is no more gradations of Viveka, and this Viveka Jnanam is indisputable, and it is ascertained by the one who has that Viveka. And there is no comparison to any other Viveka, because there is nothing to compare. There is no another Brahman, there is no other, is nothing other than Brahman, and the Brahman is partless, homogeneous, impartite whole. So therefore there cannot be any sadishya in terms of I know this and not that kind of a discrimination doesn't exist. So it is Atyanta Viveka. They are Yuktatmanaha. Nitya Samahita Swabhavaha. Everything is together, Nitya Samahita. Never waver from this knowledge. For them, this knowledge is part of their spontaneity. Sarvameva Samastam Sharira Padakalepi Avishanti. So when now they are Mukta, the body is there due to Prarabdha. When the body falls, when the Prarabdha is exhausted and the body falls, then they are Brahman. So the limitation of the body is also finally dissolved. How is it? Bhinna Ghatakashavati Avidya Krita Upadhi Parichedam Jagati. Jagati is, because everything is plural here, the Jagati is also the plural form, Prathama Purusha Bahuvachanam of Ha Dhatu. So Jagati, they give up. What do they give up? Upadhi Krita Paricheda, limitation due to an Upadhi, like Ghatakasha, a pot space. That limitation, this limiting that space with an Upadhi pot, you say Ghatakasha, pot space iti, and the pot breaks, then space is space, as though the Ghatakasha merged with the Mahakasha. So Bhinna Ghatakashavat Avidyakrita Upadhi Parichedam Jagati. They give up that Upadhi Paricheda, that limitation due to an Upadhi. The constraint was there due to the body which was sticking on because of Prarabdha Karma. So that's also not gone. I mean, that's also gone. So therefore, Sarira Patakalepi, even before they are Jivan Mukta, even when the Sharira is there. But from an onlooker point of view, you see the limitation of the body. The Jnani also cannot have to abide by the limitations of the body. So, Yevam Brahma Vidaha Brahma Dhama Pravishanti. So, they go to Brahma Dhama, the abode of Brahman, which is, there is no such thing as abode of Brahman. The abode in the sense of a dwelling place, you indicate where going where there is no return. Yad Gatva na nivartanti bhuyaha, nivartante bhuyaha. They don't come back. That means they become, you, for sake of saying, you say they become one with the Brahman. They are Brahman. So that is the Brahma Dhama. That is how they, Katham Brahma Vishate iti, that is how they, by knowledge. Nitya Samahita Swabhavaha, it's an explanation. Kutastam hi Brahma Nitya Samahitam. Kutastam Brahma, the Brahma in which there is no Vikara, Nirvikara Brahman, Kutastam Brahma. Sarvatapi Vikshepa Rahityam, there cannot be any Vikshepa in that Kutastam Brahma. All Vikshepas take like a kuta, an anvil, where everything undergoes modifications, but the anvil remains the same. Similarly, here it is Kutastha Brahman. Adayeva tad Atmatvam Apannaha Naninaha Nitya Yuktaha. They are Nitya Yuktaha. They are always abiding in that knowledge, not like Itara Yoginaha Iva. Prayatna Siddham Samadhi Kale Eva Yuktaha. Yogis, due to various yogic practices, they will gain the Samadhi, abidance in that Atma. Like we abide in Atma in the sleep, but we are not aware of it. But in yogi, in the Jagrat Avastha, when they are awake, they are able to abide in this by the practice, Samahita. That Samadhi they gain by various yogic practices. But then once the Samadhi ends, they have to come back. Like you have to wake up from the sleep to Jagrat. So from the Samadhi Avastha in the Jagrat, they have to wake up to the Asamadhi Avastha. So it's not like that. That kind of a Samadhi we are not talking about. It is Nitya Yuktaha. It is a clarification on this. Samastham Brahmahi Sarvam Jnanena Tad Bhavam Apannaha Jivantaha Eva Tad Urdhvamapi Tada Vishanti. So before also, when they are Karyakarana Sanghada, the body is still there due to Prarabdha, then also they are Brahma Bhavam Apannaha. And of course, body falls, then again naturally they gain the Brahma Bhava. Sharira Pata Kalepi Yadyapi Jnana Nishtaya Nityameva Ashariratvam. They Jnana Nishta Kale also they are Ashariri only. Tatapi Vyavaharika Drishtiya, by the onlooker's point of view, Sharira Pata Kalepi the Uktam Avishantiti. So from the onlooker's point of view, we distinguish the Jivan Mukti from the Videha Kaivalya or Videha Mukti. But from the Jnani's point of view, at the time of knowledge itself, they are freed from all the bondages of due to body, etc. So that is the fifth mantra. Now the sixth mantra. Sixth mantra is a very familiar mantra. This is a mantra that you recite when you offer Purna Kumbham to a sannyasi. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitartaha Sannyasa Yogat Yataya Shuddha Sattvaha Te Brahmalokeshu Parantakale Paramritaha Parimuchyanti Sarve. So this is the mantra na karmana na prajaya dhanena. From this Vedanta Vijnana Sunishitartaha is in the Mundaka Upanishad. This mantra also occurs in the Kaivalya Upanishad. And this is generally said when you receive a sannyasi, because this mantra describes a person of that disposition. So, so the Anvaya, Vedanta Vijnana Sunishitartaha Sannyasa Yogat Shuddha Sattvaha Yatayaha Sarve Parandakale Brahmalokeshu Paramritaha Santaha Parimuchyanti. So Swamiji's translation: for those who become renunciate sannyasis, having lived a life of karma yoga, whose minds are free from hold of raga dvesha, suddha sattvaha, Vedanta Vijnana Nishitartaha, knowledge gained from Vedanta is well ascertained. So being not separate from Brahman, they are free from all limitations. Para amritaha, paramritaha. So they resolve into Brahman parandakale, at the time of death of the Sukshma Sharira and the Sthula Sharira. Pararabdha karma ends, the Sthula Sharira ends. For an Ajnani, the Sukshma Sharira will continue, but for a Jnani, there is no continuation of the Sukshma Sharira as well. So there is no return. Yad Gatva na Nivartante Bhuyaha. So Paramritaha Parimuchyanti Sarve Pradimuchyanti. They are freed from every sense of limitation. Iti, that is the sense of this mantra. Kincha further, so the same idea of the previous one continues. Vedanta Janitam Vijnanam Vedanta Vijnanam. So Vedanta Janitam Vijnanam Vedanta Vijnanam. So what we call this as Madhyama Pada Lopa Samasa. That Janita, that word is missing in this. But in order to make the meaning, there's no such thing as called Vedanta Vijnanam. So knowledge is knowledge. So Vedanta Vijnanam, that prefix or adjective Vedanta is redundant there. So in order to make it paka, you have to supply a word. So that knowledge which is generated by the Vedanta Sastra, which is the Pramana. So Vedanta Janitam Vijnanam, Vedanta Vijnanam. So this is what we say, Madhyama Pada Lopa. The Madhyama Pada is Janita, that is missing in this compound. So Madhyama Pada Lopa Samasa. Tasyartha Para Atma Vijñeyaha. Vijñeyaha. Vijñeyaha means Jnatum Yogyaha, that which needs to be understood. It has the necessity to be known. So the emphasis, the V, Neya means something to be known. What is to be known is called a Neya. But Vijñeyaha, the V, the embellishment, is to say that it has the Jnatum Yogyata. You necessarily have to know this. Even if other things you may not know, physics, chemistry, math, but this you have to know. So necessarily you have to know. So the emphasis is given by the Vishesha V. Sortaha, Sunishchitaha, well ascertained. Esham te Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchita Arthaha, well ascertained knowledge. What is this well ascertained knowledge? There is knowledge, what you can say, Aindrika Jnanam, sensory Jnanam, through the various sense organs, like Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all these things to the sensory knowledge. That is called Aindrika Jnanam. Then things which are known only to the Sakshi, to the mind, if you will. There is no object outside, but you still have cognition in the mind without a corresponding object. Manasa Vijnanam. All emotions, love, even things like hunger, thirst. There is no object called hunger outside, but you have when you are hungry. That means it's known to you. The hunger is known to you. So that's what we say, Manasa Vijnanam, all emoting knowledge. Then there's a third category called Bauddha Vijnanam or Bauddha Jnanam. Inference. You make Anumana. That is Bauddha Jnanam. It is at the level of the intellect. Like you can even to some extent say intuitions, etc. Bauddha Jnanam. But all of them are relative knowledge. By relative knowledge, I mean there is a division of knower, knowledge and known. That division exists in all these. This Aindrika, Manasa, Bauddha Jnanam. But here in the Vedanta Vijnanam, Vedanta Janitam Vijnanam, through the Pramana, Vedanta Sastra Pramanena Janitam Vijnanam, which dissolves this division, this Triputi division. Like knower, knowledge, known, the division collapses. All divisions cease to exist. The Triputi divisions, karma, karta, karanam, like that. So divisions collapse. So therefore, that knowledge, where there is no Triputi, Jnata, Nyayam, Jnanam iti Triputi is not there, and that knowledge is Sunishchita. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitartha. Sunishchita, Sushtu Nishchita. How sometimes you can think that certain things you are very sure of, but there could be some doubt, samshaya. Or viparyaya, you may think that you know it correctly, but it may be entirely opposite to what you think it is. That is viparyaya, samshaya. Here it is sunishchita. There is no doubt samshaya because you take care of it by mananam. Shravanam, then mananam. Viparyaya, viparita jnanam. That is taken care of by nididhyasanam. So, all the doubts with reference to the neya vishaya, about the object of knowledge, there is no doubt, samshaya rahitam. Then any pratibandha centered on the jnata due to past samskaras, etc., which will give rise to viparita jnanam. That is also taken care of by nididhyasanam, that is doubts, pratibandha centered on the object of knowledge by mananam, pratibandha centered on the knower, karta, I mean the jnata, removed by nididhyasanam. So, samshaya viparyaya rahitatvam is called sunishchita artha. So, the one who has that clarity. Sarva karma parityaga lakshana yogat, sannyasa yogat, sarva karma parityaga lakshana yoga, sarva karma parityaga. It is, you can provisionally give up sarva karma, vihita karma, Veda vihita karma, provisionally you can stop by taking an ashrama sannyasa. But even after taking ashrama sannyasa, you are still doing karma. Vyavahara is always there. So there is no sarva karma parityaga in this taking ashrama sannyasa. So it is can only be cognitive. Sarva karma parityaga jnanena. Kevala Brahmanishta Swarupat Yogat. Brahmanishta Swarupat. By Brahmajnana Nishtaya, you gain the Sarva Karma Parityaga. Yatayaha. Otherwise, there is no Sarva Karma Parityaga. Sarva Karma Parityaga is not there in Ashrama Purvaka Sannyasa. It is only provisional. Some karmas are you don't do. But here that is not the sannyasa we are talking about. Actually, the word sannyasa means only that. Jnanatyaga, jnanena tyaga. Sannyasa is a very one interesting etymology. Samyak nyasyate iti. It's a safekeeping. It's called sannyasa, safekeeping. This treasure, this atma, in which there is no karma, is akartru atma. That is kept in a safe, like a treasure. So that sannyasa, by jnanena you come to know of the treasure. So this sannyasa yogat, yatayaha. Yatayaha means yatana shilaha. Suddha sat, that means one who negate doership consistently. At every step of the way they are alert. So to negate the kartrutvam. Shuddha sattvaha, shuddham sattvam yesham sannyasa yogat. Again, shuddha sattvaha, pure mind. Ajnani's mind is malina sattvam. Mind's character should be sattvam, but unfortunately it is adulterated with rajo and tamo guna. In the case of the jnani, the rajo guna, the inertia is gone. I mean, the tamoguna inertia is gone. Rajoguna, the projection, ragadvesha projection is gone. There's only suddha sattvam. So suddha sattvaha. Then what happens to them? Te brahma lokeshu samsarinam e marana kalaha te aparanda kalaha tan apekshya mumukshunam samsara avasane deha parityaga kalaha paranda kalaha. So like you compare with an Agyani, Marana Kalam is called Aparanda Kalam. The Stula Sharira falls, that is Marana. The Viyoga of the Stula Sharira and the Sukshma Sharira is called Maranam. Death is Viyoga of the Stula Sharira. Jananam, birth is Sanyoga of the Stula Sharira. With the whatever the Sukshma Sharira is. That is called marana. That called aparanta kala. So with a reference to them, the mumukshu's samsara avasanam, when the samsara comes to an end, deha parityaga, that is due to prarabdha, the stula sharira is still there. That kala is called paranta kala. In the paranta kala, the sukshma, stula, both shariras are gone. Again, from an onlooker's point of view. For a jnani, the ashariratvam, free from the body, is there at the time of knowledge. Even while he was a jivan muktaha, he is parandakalaha. So parandakalaha, samsari marana kala apekshaya. So with reference to ajnani's marana kalam, mukshuna marana kalaha is called parandakalaha. Jnani drishtaya, from the point of view of the jnani, sarvada tasya ashariratvam eva. Even at the time of knowledge, they are become ashariri. So, na eva asti antakala. There is no antakala for a jnani from the jnani's point of view. But from the onlooker's point of view, you say that there is the death of the jnani, samadhi of the jnani. Then the Shastra describe it as videha mukti. The deha is also gone. That whatever due to prarabdha, the deha that was sticking on, that also drops. So tasmin parandakale sadhakanam bahutvad brahmaiva lokaha brahmalokaha. Again, the plural here is only in the sense of parimuchyanti. It all paramrtaha santaha parimuchyanti iti. Plural is again from the sadhaka's point of view, there can be many sadhakas, so they all reach iti. Otherwise, the plural doesn't have any more significance than that. So sadhakanam bahutvat, many sadhakas. Brahmaloka, what is parandakale? Brahmalokeshu, again the plural Brahmalokeshu with a reference to again many seekers Brahmalokeshu, there is only Brahmaloka. What is this Brahmaloka? It is not Brahmanam Lokaha. It is not Shashti Tatpurusha. Brahmaloka, Brahmaiva Loka, Karmadharya. Brahma alone is the Loka. Ekaha api anekavat drishyate prapyate cha. So it's that anekatvam is only from the point of view of many sadhakas. Ataha bahuvachanam brahmalokeshu iti brahmani ityartha is only singular meaning. They become paramrtaha, param amrutam, amarana dharmakam, brahma, atmabhutam, yesham te paramrtaha, jivantaha eva. While they are living, they become brahma bhutaha, paramrtaha santaha, free from mortality. This freedom from mortality is nitya freedom. There is also an apekshika amritam, like you go to heaven, swarga prapti, due to various karma pala or upasana pala take you to swarga. There you can live long time compared to the human life. You can live, the devas times are different time scale, so you can live long life. So there can be a relative amrtatvam, apekshika amrtatvam. But punya exhausts, then that amrtatvam is gone. It is not that kind of a aparamrita. Aparamrtatvam means apekshika amrtatvam. It's not that. It is paramrita. Parisamantat, parimuchyanti, parisamantat. Totally they get freed from this upadhi limitations. How does this take place? Pradipa nirvanavati, like a lamp is there, like say wick lamp, and then that lamp, once the wick or the oil is gone, the lamp extinguishes. Nirvana, pratipa nirvana. Where does this lamp go? Where does this jyoti that was there, where did it go? It merges with the tattvam called Agni, the radiation. This little jyoti, which is also an electromagnetic radiation, which has both aushnyam and prakashyam, it merges into the source, namely the cosmic radiation, that is called Agni. So pratipa nirvanavat, or another example, binna ghatakashavat, a ghata is there, upadhi, then you have a ghatakasha, an enclosed pot space. Bhinna Ghata, Ghata is broken, finished. The death of Ghata has taken place. Well, what happens to that Akasha? You can say from this point of view, it merges into the Mahakasha. There is no merger. Akasha is always Akasha. Nivrittim, Nivritti means the bodily existence. Nivrittim, bodily existence, upayanti, get freed from that bodily existence. Parimuchyanti, parisamantat muchyante, sarve, na deshantaram gantavyam apekshante. They don't have to go to a place, deshantaram, and then gain freedom. No. Where they are, they are free. So jivantaha eva, they are free. Then when the body falls, definitely parimuchyanti. They are freed. Videha kaivalyam praptaha iti. Nivrittim upayanti. Here, parimuchyanti, parisamantat, the bhashya. Here again, parisamantat, twice he repeats it. That's unlike Shankara, because he has already defined that meaning pari. Pari means samantat, from all points, samantat. The body is dissolved, no sukshma sharira, sthula sharira, karana sharira, everything gone. So all from all points of view. So pari samantatiti, paritaha samantatiti. So he has already explained that pari. So here it is again occurs that redundancy normally you won't see in Shankara Bhashya. So some authors, some commentators feel it could be, when you writing things from palm leaves to palm leaves, there could be a lekhanam. Lekhana means writing. Lekhana pramada, in inadvertence due to this transposing the scripts. So that could be it, because otherwise, since he has already defined it, why he defines it again? That's a minor point. Then Bhashyakara gives some examples here, very nice shastric examples, this merger. So, or is the journey of the sadhaka. So, it's a journey without leaving behind a trail. So, very beautiful descriptions. Shakuninam iva akashe jale varicharasya va padam yatha na drishyeta tata jnanavatam gatihi. A bird, Shakuni means a bird. A bird flies on the space, it doesn't leave behind a trace. There's no mark. There is no, footsteps you see of the bird. The bird flies in the akasha. Or a fish, varicharasya, jale varicharasya. A fish moves in the water. Does it leave behind any marks in the water? No. So similarly for the jnanavatam gatihi, the gati that jnanis have attained, there is no trace, footsteps left behind. Padam yatha na drishyeta. Jnanavatam gatihi, you don't see steps. How did they go to this gati, this marga? What path did they walk on? You don't see. It's a journey without leaving behind a trail. This is in the Moksha Parva of the Mahabharata. Anadvagaha advasu paraishnavaha iti shruti smritibhyam. There is this is smriti. The shruti, there is some shruti, there is a statement like this. Adva means a path. Advasu paraishnavaha, people who want to cross across a road, but they are not traveling on a road. Anadvagaha advasu, so without traveling on a road, they cross a road. So that is the meaning. Meaning they don't leave any step. There's nothing, it's not a gati like going from a place to place. Desha parichinnaha hi gatihi. Only if you are you are in a given location, a gati marga, a path will take you from one location to another location. Samsara vishaya eva. In the samsara vishaya, you don't have it. You are in Los Angeles, go to Chicago, you have to go. Desha parichinna. Then only a gati. But here there is no desha kala parichinna. So parichinna sadhana sadhyatvat in the samsara vishaya. Samsara vishaya eva parichinna sadhana sadhyatvam. So if you want to go to heaven, you have to go from earth to heaven. If you want to go to the moon, you have to travel to the moon. But what do you have to do to travel to space? You are in space. Now, Satche Akasasya Karanamapi Brahman. So you are in Brahman, meaning you are Brahman. In fact, you are Brahman. You can't even say you are in Brahman. You are Brahman. So there is no journey involved. So this Gati doesn't mean a literal sense of journey. So it is a travel in a timeless, pathless, in a timeless, spaceless path. It is a travel. So a journey without a trail. Brahmatu samastatvat na desha parichedena gantavyam. That which is sarva vyapakam, sarvagam, all that sarvatra, sarvagam, it is all told. How can you go to that? What is sarva vyapakam? How do you go to that? Yatihi desha parichinnam brahmasyat. Suppose if there is Brahman as a desha parichinnam, murta dravyavat, atyantavat, atyatvad anya ashritam savayavam anityam kritakam cha syat. Suppose if there is a desha parichinnatvam Brahman, then it will be like murta dravyavat, a dravya with a form. Then it will have adi andavat, beginning and end. Then it has to have a dependence, ashritam. There has to be adhisthana to which adhara has to be there. Savayavam, it will have avayavas. And naturally, it will be anityam. It is kritakam, obtained through a karma. That is not the gati we are talking about. If anything within the limitations of desha or kala paricheda, then it will have all these defects. It will be a dravya, it will be adi and anta, beginning and end. It will have an ashraya, it will have savayavatvam, and it has to be necessarily obtained through a karma. But Brahman doesn't belong to that category. Nanutu evam vidam Brahma bhavitum arhati. Brahma is not to be thought of like this. Ataha tat praptihi cha naiva desha parichinna bhavitum yukta. So it is not like a gati in the sense of travel. Here it is a gati in the sense of knowing. Is prapti, pratipatti. Pratipatti is the prapti, pratipatti is the gati. There is no journey. Literally speaking, there is no journey. So it is a journey without a trail. And this is what the Vedanta Vijnana Sunishitarthaha Yatayah Paramritaha Parandakale at the time of Videha Kaivalyam Brahmalokeshu Pradimuchyanti Sarve Pradimuchyanti Brahmalokeshu they avishanti into that Brahmaloka or Brahmaloka lokaha praptaha. So that is the mantra. Very beautiful. And so this is the sixth mantra. So we have a few more. And the other mantras are relatively straightforward. And the last two mantras are more in terms of conclusion. So we have, there are 11 mantras. So 7, 8, 9, 10, and 5 mantras. So really speaking, 3 mantras are substantive. 2 are very simple concluding mantras. So we will finish them in the next Saturday's class. And with that, the Mundakopanishad will be over. So thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnachya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Tatsat Brahma